Greetings, everyone, and welcome to SpaceWeek Live for this Sunday, January 30th, 2022. Quick channel update. I'm pleased to announce that Raw Space has been YouTube verified. Now there's a little check mark by my name, which you can see if I type something in the chat, gibberish, which means that a human at YouTube has verified that the channel is legitimate and in good standing. Channels can apply for verification once they hit 100,000 subscribers. A check mark seems like a small thing, kind of like a silver play button, but it does represent an acknowledgement of a lot of hard work, and it can be worn proudly. So it's exciting news for me anyway. Moving on, let's check up on James Webb. Last Monday, and I don't have any video for this because there was no video. NASA didn't even provide us with a mission control feed or anything like that. But despite that, PR flub, as one might call it, James Webb Space Telescope did reach its destination and successfully executed its halo orbit insertion burn. It is now in a slow 6-month halo orbit around the Sun-Earth L2 Lagrange point, about 1.5 million kilometers or 960,000 miles away, on the opposite side of the Earth from the Sun. Mission controllers also turned on the Ka-band high-gain antenna, which will allow much higher data rates than the S-band antenna they've been using since launch. The 0.2 meter S-band medium gain antenna is used for command uplink, low-rate telemetry downlink, and ranging. It has a broad beam pattern, so it doesn't need to be pointed at the Earth, but its data rate is only about 40 kilobits per second. The 0.6 meter Ka-band high-gain antenna, it's about 3 times the size, is used for high-rate downlink of science data and telemetry. It has a focused beam pattern and has to be pointed directly at Earth, the angle of which can vary depending on the telescope's orientation. The high-gain antenna's maximum data rate is about 3.5 megabytes per second. Remembering that there are 8 bits in a byte, that's 700 times the speed of the S-band antenna. So we'll really need that high-gain antenna to pull the bulk of the science data from James Webb. Mission controllers will spend the next 4 months or so calibrating the instrument and aligning the hexagonal mirror segments. It will take about 3 months to fully chill the instrument to just 50 Kelvin. That's negative 223 degrees Celsius or negative 370 degrees Fahrenheit. Just a hop, skip, and a jump over absolute zero. And here's a quote from the Webb project manager, Bill Ox. "The deployments could not have gone more perfectly. After the last wing deployment, more than one person made comments like, 'It seemed so simple. Did we overstate the complexity and difficulty of the deployments?' The perfection of the deployment execution and the subsequent activities reflects directly on how hard everyone worked and the diligence and sacrifice it took on the part of so many people. The fact that it looked so simple is a tribute to all of those over the years who have worked towards Webb mission success. By the time we get to instrument commissioning, we are going to have one hell of a telescope." Pretty cool. In other news, last Tuesday, a Chinese Long March 4C launched from Zhuquan in the Gobi Desert with the LSAR-1A satellite. Its L-band synthetic aperture radar will reportedly be used to monitor the geological environment, landslides, and earthquakes. Its twin, LSAR-1B, is scheduled to be launched at the end of February. That is one sparkly rocket. That was actually the only launch last week since SpaceX had a series of scrubs, which I'll talk about in a minute. Looking back into the past of next week, on January 31st, 1971, was the launch of the Apollo 14 mission. They landed on February 5th, and then landed on the moon on February 5th, and then splashed down again on February 9th. They spent a total of 9 hours and 21 minutes on the surface of the moon, and they returned about 42.8 kilograms, or 94 pounds of moon rocks. This launch was with Alan Shepard, Stuart Roosa, and Edgar Mitchell. 2003, rounding out the tragedies of late January and early February, February 1st, 2003 marks the anniversary or the observance of the Columbia disaster, which took the lives of those 7 astronauts 19 years ago. Looking ahead, that same day, February 1st, Tuesday, we have a new moon. So if you have any stargazing you'd like to do and you have clear skies, which not many of us do right now, but if you do happen to have clear skies, and some warm weather gear, Tuesday will be a good day to do it because the moon will be new. All right, so looking ahead to launches this week. Today, Sunday, January 30th at 6:11 p.m. Eastern, 2311 UTC, SpaceX plans to launch the CSG-2, or Cosmos SkyMed Generation 2 satellite for ASI, the Italian space agency. This launch was delayed multiple times, or multiple days in a row due to uncooperative Florida weather. It will be lifting off from Cape Canaveral. Then tomorrow, Monday, January 31st at 2:17 p.m. Eastern, 1917 UTC, another SpaceX Falcon 9 will launch the next batch of Starlink satellites from Kennedy Space Center. This will be the 7th batch of the current generation of Starlink satellites with the laser satellite interlinks. And so first launch from Cape Canaveral, second launch from Kennedy Space Center, and unfortunately the third launch is not the following day, but 2 days after. I was hoping we'd have 3 days with 3 SpaceX launches, but there's going to be a bit of a gap, unless there's another delay. So let's see. To complete the trifecta, on Wednesday, February 2nd, at 3:18 p.m. Eastern, 2018 UTC, yet another Falcon 9 will launch the classified NROL-87 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office out of Vandenberg in California. So we get two launches from Florida and one from California. And this will be in the mid-afternoon, so we won't get the post-sunset exhaust plume glow that we have seen on some previous Vandenberg launches. But now the weather that keeps interfering with the Cosmos SkyMed launch shouldn't be an issue today. I've heard that the weather is quite clear in Florida today, so we shouldn't see any more delays with that one. But then on, let's see, Thursday, February 3rd at 2 a.m. Eastern, 0700 UTC, a Russian Soyuz 2.1A will be launching a classified mission from far northern Plesetsk Cosmodrome. The payload might be called Natron, or it may be another Cosmos satellite. It's a little unclear what will be launching. I've seen both satellites referred to, and I actually couldn't find any additional information on Natron besides the name. But in any case, it's a classified mission for the Russian government, or the Russian military, so you can imagine what that would be used for. And then finally, next Sunday, if we move ahead a week, next Sunday, February 6th, marks the 4th Starman anniversary. That's right, the 4th anniversary of the launch of Starman. SpaceX's first Falcon Heavy with Starman in Elon Musk's Tesla Roadster launched on February 6th, 2018 at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. To mark the occasion, next Sunday at exactly 3:45 p.m. Eastern, 2045 UTC, I will be premiering a special Starman tribute video remastered in crisp 4K resolution with a great music mix and a trove of information sprinkled throughout. I've been working hard on that video, and I have a lot of work left to do. The music is all set, the video sequencing is all set, but I have to add a whole mountain of captions. But in any case, that will be premiering next Sunday, and as soon as I'm done with the video and I get it uploaded, I will go ahead and schedule that premiere so that you can join us for that. It'll be kind of a Starman's cosmic journey enhanced. I guess you could think of it, because of course this channel streamed the Starman video for more than 3.5 years. But in any case, I may have to adjust the time of next week's SpaceWeek, depending on, because it usually takes about an hour to do SpaceWeek. I may have to start at 2:45 p.m. instead of 3 to accommodate the 3:45 Starman anniversary premiere, because that will be its own video. It won't be part of SpaceWeek, and I want to set the time in stone because 3:45 is when it launched, and that's when I want to air or to premiere the video. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our channel members and supporters for their generous contributions. And let me get to your questions. If I can find them here. Okay. Oh, we have one question. All right. So Mark Desire says, oh yes, well this is Mark Desire says, I wonder what the Tesla Roadster looks like right now. That would be a cool thing to find out. And that was always the question during the Cosmic Journey 24/7 stream was, what does Starman and the Tesla Roadster look like right now? Particularly the Tesla Roadster, because you know, have the windows clouded over, you know, and become opaque? Did the paint fade to pink? Is it flaking? You know, the rubber parts, did they disintegrate and drift off into space? Is the thing falling apart? Are the wheels still on? You know, all sorts of questions. Now, some of the parts of the car will essentially last forever, particularly the metal parts, but the softer materials and organic materials like you know, the carbon compounds and things like that will degrade much more quickly because they'll be subject not only to outgassing into the vacuum of space, because a car, an automobile, is not optimized for floating around in a vacuum, but also subject to the intense solar radiation that it has been bombarded with since it was launched. But that's a great question, and nobody will ever know the answer to it, I suspect. Unless someone has a whole bunch of money they want to put into a recovery mission to retrieve the Roadster, but the car is quite likely a hot mess at this point. All right. Do we have any more questions in the live chat? So, yeah. Looks like that's actually it for questions this week. Sometimes we have a lot, sometimes we don't. But yeah, so looking forward to 3 SpaceX launches this week, and one super secret Russian launch that we're not going to get a live stream of. But thank you all for coming. I hope to see you next week for SpaceWeek, and then very shortly thereafter, the premiere of the 4th Starman anniversary video, which I'm going to be working on this afternoon, continuing to work on this afternoon. Until next time, take care, keep it raw, and bye-bye.